Welcome, everyone. Welcome to episode number 2 of Thors-Kin podcast. We survived the week in the podcasting world. Yay!
Made it through the rain, man.
For the rain. And do you know what? It's been a hell of an experience just getting that one episode up. It was quite a race, wasn't it?
Yeah, it almost didn't happen.
But we got there.
A few technical problems to say the least, but we covered it up like a pro, semi-pro.
And we've had a lot of really positive feedback as well, which is really happy.
Yeah.
There have been, I mentioned at the end of the show, there's a lot of people that do podcasts that are backing us, and they've mentioned that we're pretty likable, apparently.
Apparently. I think they were sort of like probably pointing towards myself rather than you, but
yeah, okay. Most likely, to be fair.
Probably.
Although I don't know why.
Fuck you. How you been this week anyway? You've been good?
And I'm fucking great after all the shit I've been seeing coming out of ComicCon. It's been a beefy week, isn't it, for it?
Yeah, it's been a lot of trailer stuff to catch up on. If we do too much on this, we're going to be like, these guys only ever talk about movies.
Well, we don't like to stick to the same subject matter, but it is Comic-Con week, and there is a lot of it. And I gotta say, I've lost a lot of bodily fluid over the week.
You said you wouldn't talk about that.
It's been really exciting. Oh, I know, but it's just so exciting. What did you make of it all?
It's been a whirlwind week of just. Because my girlfriend's all into this stuff as well. Have you seen this? Have you seen that trailer? I'm like, how are you seeing all this shit before me? This is my job now. How are you catching all of this before I am?
Well, people that are on our Facebook will have seen that I was pretty hot on the press. I was up that night, and as it was all coming through, I was posting it. So hopefully, getting exclusives there. But yeah, and do you know what I really liked about it is the fact that there's a lot of stuff that we already know happening that we saw the extended trailers for, but there's also new things coming through as well that has captured everyone's imaginations and whatnot.
Yeah, stuff like this, it can tend to be drowned out with like the big franchises, can't it? But there's, I think, I saw one particularly late, the Logan Lucky trailer, which that more than anything had me hyped even more than like the comic book stuff, because I don't care if it doesn't have to be a geeky film or anything like that. It doesn't have to be the type of film that you show off at Comic-Con because of the audience. Any film, whatever it is, if it's good, if it's funny, if it's done well, it just looks so fun.
Okay, let's start off with that. We were going to talk about the DC stuff first, but that is coming. We know that's coming. So let's talk about Logan Lucky. We've just watched the trailers now before we recorded, and what did you think?
Yeah, so I've inadvertently completely steered this podcast right already. Yeah, because we're not going to... We've got a list of all the stuff that we're like, right, we'll work through this, then we'll go on to that, and then that makes sense to put it there. And I'm just like, fuck you, I'm going to talk about whatever the fuck I want in the order that I want.
What you guys don't know is James has got a massive crush on Daniel Craig, and when he turns up doing his strictly dickly voice, it really got him hard.
It's not James Bond Daniel Craig. I prefer Daniel Craig before he was famous, when he had like even paler skin and long scraggly hair, and he looked like the orc from Lord of the Rings that dodges the trebuchet thing. That's the Daniel Craig. I prefer. Yeah. Anyway, looks so funny. Basically it's. I couldn't gather too much from the trailer, except that it's just a bunch of people that seem to know each other through some sort of course of events, through growing up in the same area. Maybe it's like this set in Hickville somewhere in America, and they basically, there's a couple of people that need money by the looks of it, and they decide to do a bank job or some sort of. They're gonna
rip off like a NASCAR race, aren't
exactly.
they?
Yeah. So Channing Tatum basically has this. He knows where they send the money for when they take on whether it's the sponsorship, the bets, or whatever it is, and basically they need Daniel Craig to do the job. but he's in jail, and the whole of
there's a
this
great
trailer.
clip where he sat there, and at first it took me a couple of seconds to realize who it was. He's got this like short blonde hair, and he's in his prison get up, and he sat there, and they're like, "We need you to do this job," and he's like, "I am incarcerated," and I was just like, "Oh my god, that's fucking Daniel Craig! No way!"
It's peculiar, isn't it, seeing him talking in an American accent?
Not just an American accent. He was like, "I'm incarcerated," you know, that Willie Nelson kind of. Yeah, the film's directed by Steven Soderbergh, who is famous for all the Oceans movies. So he did Oceans 11, 12, and 13.
So it's going to be shit, basically. That's what we're saying.
No, if it's a heist movie directed by a guy that brought Oceans 11 for me is one of the best heist movies ever made. I mean, I know it's a remake, but that cast alone, they pulled it off brilliantly. I love that movie.
Fair enough. I completely disagree, but I don't give a shit.
12 and 13.
I'm not steering this conversation even further to the right to talk about Ocean's 11, but fuck it. Go on.
What as well excites me about this movie is you're going to see Adam Driver. Is Adam Driver?
Yeah.
The guy that plays Kylo Ren maybe in a lighter note, so he's not going to get typecast, hopefully, as the bad guy.
Yeah, I hope not.
He seems like a really talented actor. So
he seems like the kind of guy that shouldn't have been cast to play a Sith in a Star Wars movie. He seems like the kind of guy that was probably the cameraman for like Pineapple Express. Do you know what I mean? He's that kind of actor.
Yeah.
So,
and as well, like Star Wars movies have got this shadow hanging over them, where a lot of the main cast that have started with Star Wars or whatever, they tend to kind of die out, and not, they get typecast or they get flooded with negativity that they just disappear. So hopefully this breaks that trend.
Yeah.
So yeah, Logan Lucky, look out for that. That looks great. And in fact, I was watching the trailer for that when I went to watch War with Planet of the Apes, and I laughed so hard when I saw Daniel Craig. Everyone looked at me. I was such an idiot.
Do you know why? Did you go and watch that by yourself as well?
The cinema by myself. In fact, just this week.
Do you want to tell people about a recent event that happened about just you in a cinema?
Oh no, this sounds really fucked up.
I thought I had to call you.
About.
Right, okay. So I was just chilling out the other day, and I saw this tweet. I think it was over the Thors-Kin podcast Facebook page, actually, or whether it was on there or on your personal page. And it's just, I just see Alex's feet up on the headrest in the cinema. No one else in there. It's just him watching Cars 3, and I just thought, we're one episode in, and he's going to get arrested. Like, what the fuck were you going and watching Cars 3 by yourself for at 10 a.m.?
Do you know what? I'd had a really fucking long week, and I'd just finished a night shift, and I just needed to unwind. Sometimes, it's nice to unwind before you go to sleep, and I thought...
Sometimes it's nice to
keep
the cinema staff on their toes as well, whether they need to call the police.
Well, what happened earlier in the week is I took my little boy to watch Cars 3, and he had a complete meltdown, so I had to take him out 15 minutes into the movie, and I couldn't believe what this boy had done to me. I was really enjoying the film, so I wanted to go and watch it again. So that's me. And you know what? I actually left 3/4 of the way for the movie as well, so I didn't even finish it because I was that tired. I was falling asleep.
That could have also been because it's a shit film.
It wasn't too bad.
Oh,
I mean,
come on.
It's quite mundane to start off with. It's not really that exciting to start. It doesn't really grip you. But I like Cars. I like the original one, and the trailer had me gagging for more. So I thought, fuck it, I'll go and watch it. It wasn't brilliant. I won't be going to the cinema again to watch it.
How many times do you think I can keep steering this right and like completely get off? We're like not even talking about ComicCon anymore. I'm doing well so far, aren't I?
We are. Welcome to Thors-Kin. Okay. Where do you want to go? Do you want to start off with, should we go Thor or should we go back Justice League? Where do you want to go with this?
Up to you, man. You rein it back in. I keep doing damage, so I'm handing it back over to you.
Fuck it, let's go straight into Justice League. We've just rewatched the trailers again. I'm glad I've watched this trailer a million fucking times. It looks phenomenal, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I'm a Marvel guy. I like shiny, pretty things. I like a bit of comedy in my films. I like to just sort of like forget about reality and everything like that. I do like having something grounded so that it's a bit more real because it just helps you buy into it. But I'm always sort of like, if I see explosions shit like that, then I'm like, boom, I'm there. This, for me, Wonder Woman, when I saw it in retrospect, was like, okay, that was an awesome film. This is the first DC trailer, I think, for me, that I'm like, yeah, this looks good.
Yeah, and it does. And I mean, like, there's a few bits that make me think the CGI is a bit sketchy.
Yeah, I was saying to you beforehand, though, I think that their CGI, I've heard a lot of people say about this as well, and I get where they're coming from. Like, sometimes it depends if you've just come from watching a film that had really good CGI that made really good right situations, then okay, maybe the DC stuff can look a bit shit, like bad job been done of it. But I actually think that DC CGI is almost like an aesthetic choice where it's meant to be a little bit comic booky. You know, like how Watchmen was trippy as balls. They haven't gone to the same extreme, but it was like a decision. It was deliberate. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't done shit. It was meant to be like that with as good CGI that was available to them to be able to achieve that, for what was available at the time. I think this is the same thing, to be perfectly honest. It does sometimes, doesn't it? It looks a bit like, maybe especially with the green screen, but
he looks kind of fluid rather than metal. You know, the way he talks and moves and things like that. But
yeah.
Otherwise, I'm so fucking happy. Like, there's that scene, actually. I'm talking about CGI, but there's this amazing scene where you see Aquaman swimming up to the throne, and that looks amazing. I couldn't believe how good that looked. So.
No, it does look good. The
bad. And
oh, go on.
I was just going to say the hints at like coming from this as well. Obviously, we know there's going to be a lot of films kind of spilling out of this, but you see Mira in the trailer, who's an Aquaman character. They mentioned, oh my god, they mentioned the lanterns, and I think this is going to be it's going to create a good legacy of movies. I think.
Yeah, I reckon so. So backtrack a little bit. What's going on with the lanterns at the moment? Because Jason Momoa put out a tweet, didn't he? Do you want to walk us through that and kind of like speculate to what's going on here?
He put up this cheeky little tweet that I giggled at, and it was from ComicCon, and he put a picture of the poster of the Justice League, and it had Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Cyborg, Flash, and there was also a lantern flying up. And he put, I know something you don't know. And now everybody's jumping to conclusions what that might mean. But I got a funny feeling it's something to do with maybe a secret character that's going to pop up that isn't shown in the trailer. Maybe a lantern.
So do you think it's lantern over Superman being blatantly what they were kind of at towards the end when Alfred was there saying, well, are you too late?
There's no hint anymore, are they? There's a lot of talk about how they've had to CGI Henry Cavill's moustache. I don't know if you've seen this. He turned up with a moustache to do filming, and they've just CGI'd over it apparently. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but we know
instead of shaving his moustache off, they've just CGI'd out. What a fucking waste of money! What kind of world? You know what? We're going to spend what must be tens of thousands on staff wages and software to CGI over a moustache because he doesn't want to have a fucking shave.
And the thing is, I don't see the problem with it. I mean, like, Superman having facial hair is kind of canon to the comic books. He's been shown with stubble and beard and stuff all the time.
I think
even in the newest Justice League comic books, the Rebirth line, you see Clark Kent with a beard. You know, so. Yeah.
I think he needs it. Like that would kind of go more towards how they're doing like a really dark. Not that their universe isn't already dark, but they're doing a really rounded version of their universe. I think having Superman with facial hair. I'm talking like a full on. Maybe not like
mine.
Maybe not. Maybe trim it and like get the fucking lice out of it. Maybe, but you know. Your proper beard. make him look like he's going through shit, because he's always a whiny bitch. Like Superman, I think we were saying this last episode. Superman is a whiny bitch. He's a little emotional teenager. But let him grow his beard out and like clearly struggle with moralities and all of that shit that he's got going on. And
yeah, I agree. And you know what? I think there's a lot of it. This facial hair thing. Like, I think there's been a picture of something hinting towards the new Avengers movie, and you got Captain America with stubble as well, so he looks a bit down and out. That looks fucking great. But yeah, back onto Justice League. So I love how there are different types of characters in the group. I mean, you've got Wonder Woman, who's great, and she's sexy, but she's kind of serious, isn't she? She's kind of straight to the point.
Yeah.
You've got Ezra Miller, who's the new Flash, and he looks funny, man. I really like him. He's going to add a bit of light to it, I think. They're still on the rooftop with Commissioner Gordon, and they disappear, and he's like, "Oh my god, they really just disappeared, don't they? That's really rude." And then he just fucks off. It looks so good.
Yeah, he's blatantly going to be the comic relief in the film. I struggled with his suit. I'm not going to lie. Like I've always figured Flash needs to have a tight. I'm not on about like a Lycra suit, because they can make tight
want to see his
suits
package?
look awesome. Fuck you. But like he looks like he's got like Warhammer Space Marine shoulder plates on. It just doesn't seem to go. But kind of, it's a bit of a picky thing to point out. But no, he's going to be the comic relief. I think he's going to need it. Anything, because if they go too far down the route of Superman's back and it's Batman being Ben Affleck as usual, and like, it could get really fucking miserable. But hopefully the Flash and maybe Wonder Woman, with the flair that she brought to her like single film, them two bouncing off each other could be really, really good.
What I was gonna say is Alfred as well, bringing the sass. I loved Alfred in that trailer. He was so sassy.
I struggle with Alfred in this.
The time when one's main concerns were wind up exploding penguins. That was so good. Like, I put the meme up on them.
I struggle with Alfred in the new universe. So like, I think it should be Michael Caine still. I don't care.
Jeremy Irons, though, I could listen to that guy's voice all fucking day. I listened to a Nerdist podcast not long ago, and it was just 2 hours of him talking to Chris. And oh my god, that guy melts me. His voice is so deep and rich, and give me him any day. But you're not the first one to mention his Flash's suit. Actually, there's a lot of talk about that. About it, but what I think it's going to be early days Flash, because you see him mention that all he's done is really push people over and run away. So I think what they're doing is they're giving us a shitty looking suit so they can progress forward. So like when they come to a Flash movie, they're going to have some amazing looking suit, and everybody's
so so that it can actually be a spectacle in his own film. They kind of did the same with Spider-Man, didn't they? Where it's like he had a decent suit this time around, but they often sort of like do the whole, right, let's use his suit to sort of like tell you what stage of his career that he's in. So yeah, I think you're right there. I think that we could have like a really cool suit coming up for that. If Superman comes back, do you think they'll just have the same suit, or do you think he'll come back in like a fucking black suit or something like that?
Who, Spider-Man or
Superman?
Or Flash?
No, it's Superman. If he comes back, do you think
Superman,
it's just going to be the same stuff?
No. They'll give us something different. I mean, there's been pictures of him in a black Superman outfit. I'm sure there has been. People didn't like the suit and in the Dawn of Justice and in Man of Steel. I don't know why people didn't like it, but I liked it. They could come back with that, and I don't think it'd matter. Not at all. About Ben Affleck as well. He made a speech during ComicCon, because there's been all this talk about him leaving production, and because he stepped down from directing, didn't hang up his cowl. We mentioned that last week. And he's turned around and said he ain't going nowhere. So hopefully we're going to see more Batfleck, because I think he's a good Batman. You know, I really like him as Batman.
Well, if he left now, I think I'd lose all sort of respect for DC, because I don't know whether you want to move on to this in a bit once we've talked about Thor a little bit, But to me, DC's in a little bit of a rocky place. And I don't want to go too much into it now, but if they decide to recast Batman or to start messing about with the cast again now, at the moment it's like they've got a souffle that's just starting to rise at the moment, and if they open that oven again, it's just going to go so fucking flat for them. And they've struggled, I think, so far.
Where are you coming up with these metaphors, man? Fair play.
No, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, if they really start messing about with it, and Batman's kind of he's the glue that holds it all together, really, because he's the one that isn't just a clone of Superman. Like Wonder Woman is just female Superman, Aquaman is just Superman in water, Flash is just fast man. You know what I mean? Batman is the only one that has.
Flashes.
Yeah, that's so probably offensive to so many people. But do you know what I mean? Like, he's the only one that relies on
everyone loves Batman
and his story and stuff. Yeah, that's why he's had so many films. But it's just you can do most with it. And if they start playing about with that character over anyone else, they could probably recast.
Would you like to see Jared Leto back as Joker?
Nope. I'd like to see Heath Ledger back as Joker.
No,
I don't know why it's not happening. I don't know why they can't just sign him up.
Oh, fuck me. Heath Ledger was probably one of my least favorite Jokers. I mean, I think he did an amazing job, and that transition to go from that chiseled, smooth-talking guy to what he portrayed it as, I think that was an amazing piece of work from him.
Yeah.
But the actual Joker, it was chaotic, but it was quite lethargic for me, quite slow. I like a chaotic, I like the Mark Hamill Joker. That Mark Hamill is my.
You know what I think we need? We need a, bad as this is going to sound, but Planet of the Apes showed that it can be done. We need a CGI'd Joker that is fully mocapped and everything, and just like top level CGI. They need the Arkham Knight Joker, and just Mark Hamill voicing it, and don't need anything else. Just as well, get him to read out every word in the English dictionary in every single emotion possible, so that he can always be the Joker as well. He just I couldn't agree with you.
I would like I'd like a sat nav with Joker, Mark Hamill Joker. Turn left. You know, that kind of craziness. That would be so good. But no, I liked Jared Leto. I think he was really good. And the only problem is I don't think we saw enough of him. If you look at him and the New 52 Joker, there's a very, very good similarity. And I think he did it really well. It wasn't his fault, I don't think, the way it's looked at.
I'd agree there as well. I think the film itself, obviously Justice League, fucking Suicide Squad, I enjoyed it, but if you look at it critically, it's like, what the fuck are they doing? Who's the bad guy? Oh, halfway through the film. Oh, okay. It's like, you know, the background. It's obviously it's gonna.
Oh, that helicopter's just falling out the sky.
Yeah, it was all paced wrong. It was just a dire film, really. I enjoyed it because it was fun. You know what I mean? You could just switch off and enjoy the action and watch some superheroes beat the shit out of each other. But critically, it was a fucking terrible film.
I think the flashbacks in the film were better than the actual film. Like the way they go back and show Deadshot being arrested, like caught by Batman, or you know, all those little flashbacks were fucking great. They were amazing. But then all you got was people walking down an alleyway.
And I think that the problem with that is that, you know how there was blatantly a meeting with everyone in Marvel sat around a table, and they drummed everything out. And okay, they rewrote Spider-Man in and this, that, and the other, and things change. To me, the DC meeting of all the important people around that really big round table was like them meeting up at the pub and be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we put that movie here and that movie there? And then, like, on the day, the director was like, oh, we could probably shoot a scene with seeing Deadshot getting caught by Batman because it's probably kind of important. And it's like, that's, like you said, that's the best parts in it, but nothing just... Okay, it made sense to be in that film at that point, but wouldn't you do that whole thing and all that background in their own films. It just seems badly organized, if that makes sense.
Clara Delevingne, whatever her name is.
Cara
God, that woman's face. I stand that woman. I mean, I have acting to warrant her even being in that movie. I mean, she just looks like she's eating a fucking lemon. she's got the face you just want to slap. I don't. Maybe Valerian, when that comes out, we'll talk a bit about that later. Maybe that might change my mind. So anyway, we've got completely off track as usual. But
I think
we should change the pace. Yes, and go straight into Thor. What do you reckon?
Come on, let's do it. Do you want to take the lead on this one because you threw it at me last time?
I absolutely love this trailer. My little boy does too. I actually got shouted at him every time I turned it off the other day. I had to show it him like 6 times in a row because he's gone crazy over Hulk. He's my boy. But the music, the way it looks beautiful. And fucking hell, Hela, she's hot, man. She's fucking. I'm not a big fan of Kate Blanchett, but she looks hot. Hela is the goddess. She's the goddess of death or something in the trailer. She turns up and basically she wants to destroy Thor's home planet. I forgot the name.
Asgard.
And basically, yeah, they capture Thor. He loses his hammer. He mentions that in the trailer. They cut his hair. I think they belittle him a bit, and then they throw him in a pit with Hulk. And you can see it's just going to be Thor, Hulk, Loki as well, which is nice to see him back in the movies.
Yep.
And Doctor Strange as well. We know he's going to be in that. He's going to turn up. So I think it's just going to be them versus Hela and all the craziness she's going to bring. It looks amazing. Yeah, so I think it looks.
I'm going to get my one negative out at the start, okay? Because there is literally just one negative. They need to stop in Loki. Is this convenient? Oh, you've been locked away, but we conveniently need an extra person in the cast. Let's break you out of jail, just like the film 2. Just like was it? Remember what happened in? Was he even in Avengers 2? I can't remember, but like it just seems to be, except for like the first film where Loki was doing what he wanted, he's always just stuck on the naughty step. No wonder he's so pissed off all the time. He's like, I want to be in the fucking films, bitches. But apart from that, it's so cool. My favourite bit was where she asks him, what are you the god of again? And he lands on the thing and he's got the lightning in his eyes, and it just reminded me of when I was a kid and playing Mortal Kombat, and Raiden was the best character because of like he could do his super flashy thing across the screen where he like flies forward with his arms out and he's got the electric coming out. It just reminded me of that. I was just like, oh my god.
It looks so fucking. I shrieked with joy when I saw that. I was like, whoa! It looks amazing because obviously now you can see he doesn't need his hammer to be Thor. Because remember in the first movie, they took his hammer off him and he was just this whingy little bitch that comes. Obviously, he doesn't need that anymore.
So it started off with sort of like my negative and my favourite part of it, but overall, what I'm most excited about is so one of the first, believe it or not, proper full things that I read Hulk-wise was World War Hulk and Planet Hulk.
Okay.
Way around, obviously. And they hooked me. Literally, I read them from the full graphic novel from start to finish. Didn't do anything else. I put my video games down. Didn't watch any movies for that. Well, it took me about 3 months to finish it because I read like an idiot. But but yeah, just that whole storyline of whatever's going. I don't know if Hulk's going to be as bitter in this. It doesn't seem like it because he seems very pally with Thor straight out of the gate.
He looks amazing.
Because the World War Hulk story is like Hulk's pissed off. He's going to kill everyone. Hulk does bash the shit out of everyone. I think they're going to like draw from what happened, but just completely rewrite it. So they're still going to have the World War Hulk character, but have him interact with the MCU as would be relevant for the MCU, if that makes sense. So just his shoulder plates and his weapons. The Rock guy, is he what's his name, or
The
something
what?
like that. The rock guy that you see halfway through shooting into the
Oh, right,
crowd from like left to right. I forgot his name, but he's an awesome character in the thing. So I'm going to be interested to see if they have any of the rest of the World War Hulk characters in there. Whether they have like I can't remember any of the names, but like the ant guy that's in the comic, like the bug character that he's there for comedic effect. Whether they need him because Thor and the Hulk can both provide that, I don't know. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how much they draw from Planet Hulk.
So you're one of the guys that can actually, because you've read the comic book similar to it, you can actually pick bits out of it that you compare to the comic book. You think that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing for you?
I'm not fussed. I'm not one. Even though I mean I've not read every comic book under the sun. Like far from it. I kind of like just I enjoy it as a culture thing. I'm not one of these. Even though fucking we've done basing a podcast around it, so probably should have chosen a different fucking day job. But I'm not one of these
No,
people.
no, 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 no. I mean,
who like that doesn't match the comics. You know, I like. I will. I know that it's supposed to be separate, so I don't give a fuck if they take half of it. Even if they take the half that I don't like, it's like, hey, that's what you've chose to do. I couldn't give a crap. You know what I mean? So, no, if they don't include certain bits, if they do include certain bits, it's all good.
I just burped then. Hope nobody heard that. Yeah, and because I picked up comic books like and these I go out every week buy comic books. I wish I had that kind of money when I was a kid, but I didn't. And so I like to go on what I've seen from the animated movies, and I do Google DC a lot because I like to know who's that character, and I do read a bit about him. So I'm not like the comic book fucking guy, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
I'm trying to catch
you're not
up.
the
I'm trying to catch
guru
up.
kind of thing.
But I have read a hell of a lot of DC. We're in the download age now, so you know you can pick up comic books online for cheap and stuff like that. So I've read a lot, and the list of movies that they've released for DC, actually going back to it, is they've decided that they're going to make a Justice League Dark movie. Now that's one of the greatest comic books I've ever read was Justice League Dark, and they did a massive comic book convergence called the Trinity Wars, Justice League Trinity Wars, and that's basically you got the Justice League, the JLA, and the Justice League Dark, and they all just start fighting each other over a trinket that makes people crazy. But
Okay.
it's what I'm saying is it looks like they're going down that route. So like with you having read these comic books and things like that for Thor, it's got to be really exciting that they're making something similar, you know. I would absolutely I'd lose my mind if they said they were going to make a Trinity Wars movie.
Yeah,
So
I'd have lost my mind more if they did an independent that was fuck it, use him as a bad guy. He'd be the best villain that Marvel have had. Like have Planet Hulk and have him come back halfway through the Thanos fight and just annihilate everyone. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But like I said, they're going to do what they do with it, and I'm not really fussed if they, you know, instantly make him a good guy straight away. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Did you see that picture not long ago? Because sorry, go on. I don't want you to lose your subject. Basically, because both Wolverine and Thor are dead in the comic book universe. Spoilers. But they released a picture of it was a Wolverine Hulk hybrid in a tank. It's basically Hulk with Wolverine claws. It looks immense. I was like, they make this. If they made that and made it canon to all the comic books, nothing would survive.
No, yeah, exactly. The strength and the Hulk doesn't even need like a healing factor. He's just not really hurt him. But, yeah, between the two of them then, because been on this for a while already. Between the two of them, obviously, it's really healthy, I think, because DC's no slouch anyway. Like they're breaking just as many records, like ticket sales, as Marvel. I think it's awesome that we've, like you were saying before the podcast, that we've got like two really awesome looking trailers.
Yeah.
and it's healthy for it, that it isn't this kind of like one's better than the other, and I like this and you like that, like the typical fanboy argument. I think usually,
Yeah, and I hate that. I hate this. You don't have to be Marvel or DC. You can love both. And like you said, there's these two amazing trailers that have come out. Embrace it. If you're a comic book fan, stop whinging and enjoy what you're about. We're living in the greatest age of movies. If you're a comic book fan, embrace it and enjoy it. You don't have to.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like you have it with everything. It can be fucking brands of phone, of consoles, of like even like down to like what supermarket you shop at. There's always like
Yeah.
this one's the cool one, and this one's the cool one to be hated.
Yeah.
Whereas this,
It was
I
the same
think,
growing up. Yeah.
I think DC, Marvel is obviously like the cool one, but I don't think DC is in that category of the cool one to be hated. I think they have just sort of like stumbled out of the gates a bit, coming into this. Oh, we're doing the whole thing as well. So I hope to God that this is sort of like, really puts that builds on that foundation that Wonder Woman laid down of we can do a good film. This is us proving it. From here on out, it's only onwards and upwards. Because if this is good, trust me, everyone will be like, Marvel's on notice.
And I think Snyder's gonna. They've lost a lot of faith in him. I think because of what he's done recently with Suicide Squad and what have you. Yeah, it needed a fresh look, especially Justice League, because if that movie isn't right, if that movie doesn't look good,
yeah, I think it will though. So yeah, except for that, kind of like moving swiftly on, because I think we've sort of like sort of talked the shit out of DC just there in Marvel. Did you notice the Ready Player One? Did you watch that? Steven Spielberg producing it.
Or yeah, it looks amazing.
Directing or whatever. When you hear Steven Spielberg, it's like, well, I don't think you've directed a film in forever, but like he's the guy that sits in the background, like stroking the white cat in this like twisty chair. That's just like, you are my precious film. Ready Player One. There is a Halo assault rifle in a film that has about 100 different IPs all coming together. How the fuck did they get the licensing to do this? This is like...
I have no idea. And I didn't know anything about this movie. It's taken me by surprise. I watched the trailer and then I saw this dude, obviously it's in a VR simulation or something.
Yes.
And he's running alongside the Iron Giant. I was like, what the fuck? And then you see like... what do you see? You see the DeLorean out of Back to the Future. Like you said, there's the assault rifle. There's so much to look at. Freddy Krueger and oh my god, yeah, you're right. It's just
I didn't even notice half of that stuff.
Oh wow, yeah, I know it's the DeLorean. You can't miss the DeLorean.
Crazy.
And I guess it's just obviously it's set in the future, so they've basically done what we were talking about last week, you know, bringing everything together and making this amazing game or VR experience with everything you love.
Was that part of last week that was totally not in the show? Was it in the show, or was that the bit that we totally didn't?
No, that was in the show. We were talking about how Fox and Sony and Disney need to get their act together and bring everything together into one film.
Yeah, I don't even know if they need to do like a decent story in this, or whether just the spectacle of right, you've got 100 million and a shit hot computer, make some cool CGI moments.
Well,
you've got the DeLorean. What else do you need?
You could put all those things into it, and you know.
I think as silly as it sounds, like I don't want to start steering it right. I think VR will get there one day, where I'm talking like fucking 50 years down the future here, where it will be like just step in there, and we'll get to the point where you get lost generations of people that are just like, they don't have social lives. They're just like videos, VR. They just live in this other world.
It's very relevant.
Yeah, the context of it's like, it's got me intrigued, but you can't really.
There is only one use for VR for me, and that's fucking porn. Let's do it, man. VR porn, can you imagine?
I hope that wasn't an actual invite. I hope that was like just a general comment and not let's do it.
No.
Fuck yeah.
I guess they've got it already, haven't they? These fucking phones. Yeah, they've probably got that. I don't know. It was just a dig, but yeah, it would be used for that, wouldn't it? I mean, it'd be the whole, like with the internet. The internet was created for shopping and porn, really, wasn't it?
Not even shopping.
VR.
It was just someone. You know what it was? Is that the guy that created it said that it was created for shopping, but created it for porn.
He's like, where can I see pictures of the girls' titties from across the world? I need to make something.
I'm going to create the most advanced computer system ever just so I can do it. Yeah, let's move on. Right, what you got?
What movies have we been watching this week? Obviously, I watched Cars 3, which was dire. What have you been watching?
The one that I've watched this week, because I've only managed to see one, is the big one, Planet of the Apes.
Oh, fuck yes.
Oh my god.
Good.
Right, okay, so full on warning, if you skip past this and you kind of jump in and you're like, right, I'm bored about talking about fucking DC and Marvel, I'm going to zoom ahead, and you get spoilers, this is your one warning, and take it for the future. Don't skip past shit, because we might do this from time to time. We're going full spoilers, okay? So
that sounds fine.
what I'm going to do,
we're a podcast.
I'm going to take the timestamp here, and if you're watching it on YouTube, which you will be, because that's the only place we're doing it at the moment, I'm going to pop the timestamp in the description so you can click on it. So if you listen to this now and you haven't seen it yet, scroll down and it will take you sort of to sort of the next film. Oh my god. So the first couple of films, Planet of the Apes, were sort of... I never really got massively into the old ones, but there was something that always intrigued me about sort of like humanity's ended, apes have taken over, and it's this different civilization. So when, I think in 2007, wasn't it, or 2006, something, maybe even earlier, when they did the remake, it was actually quite a long time ago. When they did that, that to me was like one of the perfect franchises to bring back, because now we've got CGI, now we can achieve what it's supposed to be. You know how James Cameron didn't want to make Avatar all go until the sequel there. Planet of the Apes is that kind of film for me, where it's like there was no point doing it. Like, why have Michael Jackson in a suit? Because that's what the other ones were. With remember the girl that Mark Wahlberg was kissing was basically Michael Jackson.
Yes, Janet Jackson.
It was Janet Jackson, wasn't it? Fucking hell. Yeah. So then number 2 was a little bit kind of it went off a little bit too. I really liked it, but it kind of steered away from where I thought they were going with it, and this film steers even more that way. I didn't expect this film to be what it was, but that is in no way a bad thing. It's slow as fuck. So just forewarning everyone, it's like 2.5 hours long, even longer maybe, and there is maybe one bit of action at the start and one bit of action at the end. There's about 10 minutes of action in the whole film. The rest of it is listening to grunts and subtitles, but it had me on the edge of my seat the whole way through.
And it looks beautiful as well, doesn't it? It looks like
man.
The CGI, the way when they filmed it, like there's a bit when they're coming out of a cave, and the light angles, the way everything looks is beautiful. It's really well done.
Yeah, this is one of those kind of films where I could sit here and say, right, the pacing was all off because it was quiet. It was there was lots of slow moments that went on for 20 minutes, half an hour of just this one scene. So I could sit here and argue that the pacing was off, but once it was all said and done, it kind of made perfect sense. Like the bit that started to drag for me was so we said we're going to do full spoilers, so screw it. So basically, Caesar, the second film sets up the start of a war, basically. Cobra, who is Caesar's right-hand man in the second film, goes completely nuts. He was full of hate, and he starts a war. The apes and humans were sort of living next to each other, but coexisting very awkwardly, and Cobra just completely tears down that barrier. Just to all-out war. And this picks it up years later, where Caesar is grizzled. He's got the equivalent of a grey beard. He's covered. He is one giant beard because he's a chimp, but his beard's grey. And basically, you've got Woody Harrelson leading this sort of team.
Who I fucking love, by the way.
Oh, he's so good. This team of like spec ops people who've got better equipment than anyone. How, this is the one thing, how these people are better equipped now than they were at the beginning, I don't know, but I'll let that one slide. And basically, Woody Harrelson leads this team of humans that are just trying to survive, essentially, just like the apes, but they've been in this war, and he basically leads this assassination mission, and something goes wrong where the wrong apes die, and it really, really pisses Caesar off. So the whole film is just him tracking down Woody Harrelson, but everything starts to go wrong, kind of like the start of the second act. And he basically gets drawn into a trap and gets captured. And it's basically Auschwitz is the
I think
the parallel that they're trying to draw.
Yeah. What they tried to do is show the punishment that they were given, because like obviously Caesar doesn't want to go to war, he doesn't want to hurt humans, so they spent so long showing reason why he should be defensive and offensive. It was a great way of doing that, is showing the punishment that they got given and the way they were treated. That's what did that. It was watch.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head, because at the start of the film, I'm not going to lie, because it picked it up following humans through a woods. The first action scene where it kicks straight into action, you're following this team of people. Woody Harrelson's not in it yet, but they're launching an attack on the on Caesar's tribe while Caesar's away. And basically, as they're traipsing through, it's scary shit, because they make the apes look scary shit. I was thinking I would hate to be in that apocalyptic world going up against these things, and I started rooting for the humans. And about 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be. And then it took quite a while until Woody Harrelson got there for me to start going, you know what, I'm Team Ape. But that kind of set up the tone of, are you going to root for your own guys? Is Caesar starting to lose it a bit? And just that, there's a chunk of his essentially torture. It's one giant torture scene for an hour long in the middle, isn't it? Of setting up, God, this guy's got to get free of here. He's got to save his people. But even though it's so slow and everything, and heavy, I think is the word that I choose, the comedy ape, is in it the perfect amount. At the end of every heavy scene, he has just two moments.
He's actually credited as Bad Ape as well. Don't know if you saw the credit.
Is he?
He was fantastic. I loved him. He's almost that Gollum sort of character. He's kind of there just to pick things up a bit, you know.
Yeah, so every time it kind of gets too heavy, he just pops his head up, doesn't he? Quite literally at times, pops his head up through the floor when they're escaping. He's like, Bad Ape. Oh, he's so good in it. I was dreading him dying. Luckily, you know, it's he's alive and well, but like, I was dreading him dying or something.
A bit though, and I'll tell you my problem. It's been an apocalypse. A lot of people have died, and you don't groups of humans about. You don't see. I mean, obviously in the second one you did, but during that movie you didn't see groups of people about any movement. But yet there's fucking thousands of soldiers. Do you know what I mean? It didn't make sense in that respect. There's no civilians, but yet they've got a huge army. What they're going to do?
I think the whole point of that is that you can't. The world's got to a point now where there's no luxuries, there's no amenities, there's no running water, there's nothing. Unless you are part of a group, locked away behind your walls, you're not surviving. And they kind of pointed that out when they catch the little girl who can't talk, where it is. They explain later that was people who abandoned their posts, and they went to live in the wilderness, and they just don't survive. It's too harsh.
And that was one scene as well where Caesar was fucking ruthless. He had to be, because he was about to whip out that gun, wasn't he? About to shoot. But Caesar just bam straight up blows the guy away, and I like his Caesar like that. I liked him like that.
Yeah, because that's what he always was, wasn't he? Because the apes were technically the bad guys. Right. In the old films, was it Caesar who was the head of everything? Is it the same character, or is this a new ape? Because I just don't.
I have no idea. It's that. I mean, there's going to be a lot of listeners out there that's going to hate me for saying this, but Planet of the Apes was always something I avoided as a kid. It wasn't really my thing. Obviously, with the regeneration of it, it's caught my eye, and I absolutely love these movies. All of them have been brilliant. The 1, 2, and 3. I just wish they hadn't have killed off James Franco, because I like him. I think he's good.
Yeah, I thought they were going to keep him there. I thought as well maybe that he would reappear, like he survived all this time, even if it was like a retribution moment, like Caesar was going like just ham on everyone and like completely losing the shit because of what's happened. Where all of his people have just been incarcerated and basically put to slave labor. I think having him in it would have made more sense, but what that kind of puts in context is that it's not James Franco's story. He was just a character in it at the time, because he was human. He's a famous actor. That's what we thought. Like, okay, it's a James Franco series. He's in Planet of the Apes now. Really, it's all about Caesar. He is the character.
Now, obviously, spoilers. We did say this. He dies at the end. Where do you think it's going to go? Is no more Caesar, and is
So this is why I was asking if the old films was Caesar, or whether it was something like his son. And I'm just kind of googling it now just to see what they call his character on IMDb. Let's have a look. Oh, fuck off, Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime can go suck a fucking dick. Right, let's have a look. Where are all the...
Prime?
Because basically what I'm going to get at is the reason why he gets like he gets is because Woody Harrelson kills his son and his wife. No, not his wife. Kills his son, doesn't he?
And his wife.
And it's his wife, okay.
And it's just the little son that's left, isn't there? Cornelius, is it? Cornelius?
So it's Cornelius. Right, okay. In the 2001 film, he's called Thade. So it's not actually Caesar. So I didn't know if they kind of tied it all in. I think each film has chose its new set of cast. They've reset who the characters are. So it doesn't have to link back into being Bad Apes. But what I would like them to do, now that they've got that nostalgia back in there, they basically escape through the back of Helm's Deep, essentially, and they find their way into the desert. And just that moment of, oh, this feels like we're back on Mars again. This feels like Planet the Apes should. I'd love for them to experiment with having his son grow up and basically take on all of the bitterness that his dad had at the end. Even though his dad died a hero, Caesar, he's a fucking dude. I hope he... My main
he took out the whole army in one shot.
Exactly. It's so good.
But he did it.
If fuck it, grenade, fuel tank, bye. I wouldn't mind it if like the first scene was like his son playing about down at the water well kind of thing, and he turns around and his dad stood there, and it's like, oh, Caesar's alive. That's convenient. I wouldn't mind. I'd be like, awesome. I love the guy. Like he's an awesome character. But what I think they're going to go down is, if they do any more, that is to have his son grow up and maybe be a bit bitter and lead them down a wrong path, so that it gives way for new heroes, the new cast. Maurice, the big orangutan.
I like Maurice.
He was always the orangutan was always the diplomat in all of the films, wasn't he? The guy that had sympathy for the humans, which is why his character was the way he was in this film, but also that that might set him up to be that kind of grounding character for the future, where he's old and grizzled, and he's like, no, Cornelius, we need to we can't be enslaving them just because we were enslaved.
Yeah.
And I think that swap it round, like have it so that the apes are the bad guys and we can root for the humans again.
Okay, so we've enjoyed Planet of the Apes so much, and I do welcome another one to see which direction they're going in. We should come off this though, maybe talk about. I'm gonna go watch that or what?
What? Say that again.
Sorry, I'm having a bit of a fucking mumble. Dunkirk, are you gonna get out to see out this week?
I'm going to try to, yeah. I've got a busy week ahead of me, adulting and being responsible and shit like that. Like even before the podcast, I was running around like a fucking madman trying to get in to record. So I've got to do all of that stuff afterwards. Like, this took priority, I think so.
Well, I went to watch Dunkirk, and I would definitely recommend it. It is mind-blowing. It is probably, I wouldn't say it's up there with Wonder Woman, but visually it is just as spectacular. I wouldn't call it a war film. I'd call it more of a horror, if you like.
Okay.
We see a lot of to and froing from armies. It's not like a group of soldiers shooting at another group of soldiers. It's literally 1,000 Brits all stuck on a beach and just getting hammered by the Nazis.
So basically the camera zooms out a lot and you see the battle as a full battle scale rather than focusing on individuals. Is that what you're getting at?
They just get slaughtered, and you see it, and they do it great with sound as well. They you hear a lot of the planes come in, you know, that sound of me, and they're all kind of panicking, and you see the explosions. You see they'll be in a ship, and you'll just see like the stream of a torpedo coming towards them. You don't actually see any Nazis apart from the dog fighters with the Spitfires.
Yeah.
And it's basically about a group of people trying to survive. And the addition was Harry Styles, and I didn't think I'd ever say that. Harry Styles is in the cast, and he's in it a little bit, and he's actually quite good. I didn't think I'd ever say that, but I really liked him in it. I think he could become an actor. Like, he could do it.
I reckon he should, because to be honest, the music shit. So he probably needs to start searching for something else.
No, he looks like a movie star, doesn't he? He looks
good. Does. I like it when people do that. I've got a lot of respect for when people come out of one career, like whether he tries to do solo stuff as well, but go into acting, give it a go. Because if you're good, I hate it when people are like, oh, he was in a boy band, he's this, that. Look at Will Smith. Like, he's one of my favourite actors. He started his career off really as an absolute joke to music. Like, that's just he was just like this smooth rapping, like clean, no swearing, nothing.
I like Will Smith. I'm gonna put that out there.
Exactly. Like, he goes into like some awesome roles after it. So if that's what Harry Styles wants to do and he wants to go down that route, then power to him, I say.
But yeah, I would definitely go and watch it. It's worth the money. Absolutely worth the money. You'd be your eyes will be glued to the screen throughout the whole experience.
Cool.
So I've talked about Dunkirk and that you should go and watch it this week. But is there anything that's coming out recently that you like the look of? Have you seen anything caught your eye?
50-50 on Atomic Blonde. I saw that for the first time when I was going to see Planet of the Apes. Saw the trailer. But it's got what is her name? Is it Charlize Theron? Yeah. And Professor X. Yeah, just Professor X. That's he doesn't have a name. It looks like one of those films that's going to slot into the same level of Lucy of if you ever saw that with Black Widow. Again, just character names, not real people. It could be good, but it was like an average film. But I think James McAvoy's going to sorry, Professor X is going to like add to it. Like he's going to be the reason to watch the film. I've got a feeling it might end up being very average, but after seeing Baby Driver the other week, anything can surprise me at the moment. I'm so much more open-minded because of that film.
The trailer is like very upbeat because it's got that really cool soundtrack to it. But what you got to remember is that soundtrack isn't going to be playing throughout the movie, so it's not going to feel that upbeat all the time. I've got a lot of faith in Charlize Theron. I think she's a great actress, and James McAvoy. It's just going to be like Jason Bourne with a chick, isn't it? Basically, by the looks of it.
Possibly, yeah.
I will go and watch it, and we'll review it on the show. I think it looks good. Valerian as well. Valerian's out now, isn't it? I'm going to watch that. It looks visually quite stunning, but then there's fucking Cara Delevingne again in that. So,
see, this is back to what I was just saying about comparing Atomic Blonde to Lucy, of one of those films that falls into a distinctly average category, like the Who Gives a Shit folder. Valerian might fall into the same category as things like Ender's Game and the one with the Jaegers, the big Titans, Pacific Rim, where it's like it's a spectacle, but no one gives a shit. So
what was that film that Channing Tatum did that absolutely bombed?
Jupiter Ascending, exactly the same category.
Yeah, but this one has got a big following anyway, because I think I haven't done a lot of research, but I've heard that it's actually a comic book movie. It's an independent comic book that did really well, won lots of awards.
Okay.
So might be worth watching. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I've got high hopes for it, definitely.
And then there's Emoji Movie, which is out on the 4th of August.
Are you going to go watch this again at 10 a.m. in the morning on a random Tuesday by yourself?
Well, I'm actually looking at it now, and I don't go on critical analysis always. I don't go on things like Rotten Tomatoes because I think they're assholes. But there's a meta score of 9 out of 100 on this.
I thought you was going to say out of 10.
Out of 100.
9 out of 100.
Oh, I'm joking. 51 meta score. This one's got 9.
Fuck me. This is... Oh, we have to go watch this. Should we do a proper full-on review for all the people who care about Emoji Movie? Should we dedicate a half an hour section next week?
An hour and a half talking about
I reckon
shitty
so.
Movies.
And we can go into the
feel
history
bad
of
if
all
this doesn't do very well, though, because TJ Miller, James Corden, and Anna Faris, they're 3 people I really like, you know? And
mate, if you like them, you just have to sit down and go, at the end of the day, they need to choose better films to be in. Sorry, but...
Yeah, no, I agree. James Corden, I don't know if you won't have seen it because it was at the beginning of Cars 3, but James Corden's actually made a Peter Rabbit movie. It's all CGI. It looks quite good. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But you know, I have to take my boy to watch that. But yeah, it's very quiet at the moment, movie-wise. Valerian's probably going to achieve out of all them movies we've mentioned. So yeah. Oh, do you know what I did actually? I borrowed a box set off a friend from work, which is Friends. I'm going to watch the whole of Friends from beginning to end.
I'll see you next year then.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time. I don't know. I'd think it'd be really cool. It'd be like traveling in a time machine, you know, all the crazy hair and stuff. And I love Friends growing up, so
I don't think there's anything on Earth that has more hours in a box set except for like if you had all the Simpsons Simpsons episodes together.
Yeah, sorry, that was me clicking at my dog. It's being noisy in the background.
You're going to bring your dog on.
I'm looking forward to that. Oh, and as well, actually, before I start that, I've been rewatching Daredevil, the series, getting ready for Defenders. Oh my god, I fucking love that show so much. It's one of the most perfect pieces of TV ever created. Absolutely love it. So I'm glad to be watching them again. That hallway scene, the fight scene, it just absolutely blows my mind. Okay, so do you want to move on to Dickhead of the Week?
If you want to go there, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we were going to make a jingle for this. We were just having a conversation about whether we should do it or not, but I don't think so. So here we go with Dickhead of the Week. Let me find mine. Week is it's quite a nasty one actually. Okay, so there's a company in Japan called TEPCO. They're a power company. They've got a nuclear power plant, and they have got 770,000 tons of nuclear waste.
Say that
waste.
number again, slowly, with the emphasis where it needs to be.
770,000 tons of nuclear waste.
770,000 tons. That is a lot of waste.
It's 770,000 tons of tritium. I don't know, containing water. It's horrible substance, and they want to dump it in the ocean, and the Japanese coast. They've been strongly advised against this because there are a lot of fishing companies, a lot of people that rely on the sea life on that coast, and it's just going to in the radius and in such a huge radius that it will kill a lot of the fishing industry from that area. Despite the protests against it, they just decided, fuck you, we're going to do it anyway. Fuck the environment, fuck your fish, and fuck the world. We're just going to dump all this shit in the ocean. Now look, TEPCO and even Japan, if you're going to fucking let this happen, fuck you, all right? This is our planet. It's not just your planet. And I'm not going to let you do it. I'm going to Japan. I'm going to tell them, fuck you, Japan.
Well, maybe Japan are listening in.
Yeah, well, fuck you. And listen to me, bitch, right? Because this would be a disaster. I mean, can you imagine? Like,
this is
if you're going to... Go on.
With Japan, like, it wasn't long, but it was only about maybe even 10 years back that they decided, you know what, we're going to legalize whale hunting again. And it's like, we're in a world now where we don't need whale oil for lamps, and we don't need it for medicines. Like, we're past whale hunting. Like,
well,
like I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it, but like, if you need meat, farm some fucking cows. Like, I get that you live on a tiny island and you have to build upwards. Find a different fucking island if it's too small to grow cows, to raise cows. Import the shit. Just pisses me off how they are so technologically advanced. Their medicine is insane. Their technology, their education. I admire the Japanese culture so much, but when it comes to certain things like welfare and certain things like selling used thongs in a vending machine, Japan are fucked up on so many levels. I just don't get it.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck, do they? They don't care. And that, like you said, that they've got all this technology, and they're obviously very, very clever at what they do. There's a better way of dealing with this. There's got to be. So put your heads together and deal with it, man. Don't destroy this planet in such a I'm not angry about it. I'm struggling to get my words out, but fuck you, Japan. So my dickhead.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
I was just gonna carry on ranting. To be honest, there wasn't many words that are gonna come out other than "fuck you, Japan."
Well, because we've already established "fuck you, Japan," and
look.
I don't have a dickhead of the week. Shall I flip it back and do a lighter story, kind of on the same subject? Obviously, if we've got like all like 7 listeners at the moment, so wherever you're based, sort of like US or UK or whatever, basically this week it's just been announced that by 2040 there's going to be a ban on the production of all petrol and diesel cars, which I'm not like an environmentalist. You won't sort of catch me growing out my armpit hair and not shaving my legs and going to fucking
shading yourself to trees.
Yeah, some shade. It's like some random fucking rainforest somewhere. But logic comes into a situation in that you can't keep spewing shit into the atmosphere and not have an effect. I don't give a crap what Donald Trump thinks. He's a fucking dick. But like, it's a real problem, and to have that in place, they can't do it now because industries will crumble. Like, everything that the knock-on effect from that, the petrol industry, tax that is involved with it. If you look at the actual situation, there has to be a time frame on it. Maybe 2040 is too far in the future, but it kind of sounds to me like a right time frame so that enough can be put into place to find something else to tax in the meantime, by the point that takes effect, so that the economy as a whole can actually carry on. But the fact that we've put in place this ban on production of petrol and diesel cars, whether that means just production and that we're going to then keep driving them around for the next 30-40 years after that, I don't know. Or whether by 2040 we all need to be going around in Teslas. What are you going to do with the
cars that already exist? Are you going to take them off people, or are you going to tax people more for using them? I don't know.
I've got an idea. Do you want to hear it? Dump them off the coast of Japan.
But actually, do you know what? There is a problem with this, and it does tie into this TEPCO thing, is electric cars have quite nasty batteries that once they're dead, there's not a lot you can do with them other than find somewhere to put them afterwards. I think the problem with the Tesla cars that people are driving around, they're amazing pieces of equipment, but once those batteries are dead, you've almost just got to bury them. You can't really do a lot with them. So if everybody's driving around in these cars with horrible batteries, what the fuck are you going to do with the dead batteries?
Yeah, to be fair, though, is that one dead battery that can be given a place in a landfill site somewhere better than the petrol that's going to spew out for the years and years of its use that gets worse and worse the less efficient that the car gets,
It's a valid point. Something they need to do. Maybe they need to get their heads together with TEPCO and come up with a fucking plan.
The thing is, with stuff like that, you're never going to get a perfect situation because there's too many people making money on the things that are bad for the environment, that are bad for people, that are bad for just morality-wise, that there could be better options on the horizon for. Any new ideas, they just get stomped out and stuff. So it's the fact that this is even happening, that there's a ban on, even if it's just the production of them, it's huge when you think about it.
Yeah, it's got to happen. You're right. They've just got to be really smart about it. And there's going to be a lot of petrol heads out there that's going to refuse, and it's quite a selfish thing. But like you said, if they did it straight away, it would just kill everything off. So there is a valid point to that. But yeah, we'll go forward with that. So dickheads of the week this week is the whole of Japan or TEPCO? Just TEPCO?
I don't know. I raised a valid point that they sell used thongs in vending machines. So should we just go the whole of Japan?
And as well,
we did put
sharks,
the what?
There's a shark in Japan. It's a soup. Sorry, which is shark fin soup, and it basically means that they're going around slaughtering sharks, cutting their fins off, and feeding them to fat fucking Japanese businessmen.
They've been doing that forever, man.
So yeah, fuck you, Japan. Basically, yeah, we'll go for the whole thing.
Yeah, we did put a disclaimer at the start to say that if we offend an entire race, then it's all Alex's fault. So yeah, all of Japan dickhead of the week.
What did I do last week? I was feminists and
so we went on a big long feminist rant, didn't we? I can't remember if that got cut or not. I think that might have been after the point. I haven't gone back and listened to the whole of the episode last week. So
I've listened to it like 3 times.
Have you?
That fucking yeah.
You like the sound of your own voice.
No, it's nice because I wanted to, obviously the quality is always going to improve, and I wanted to listen to it to, obviously.
Yeah, so talk about improving quality. You came up with a decent idea last week as well that we're going to sort of like try and implement for next week. Superhero bar fight.
Yes, let me explain. Every geek is obsessed with the idea of versus. So we're talking about Superman versus Batman, Superman versus Hulk, Superman versus Thor. Oh, no, but yes, so the idea is that both me and you have a cup filled full of names, and we both pull one out, and it's going to be that person versus that person. So we'll just do a little. It doesn't have to be serious, but a little bit of talk about who would win the fight and why. I don't just want to fill it with superheroes. I'd want to fill it with all kinds of characters, and it'll just start a discussion going, hopefully. So yeah, we'll do that next week. I think that'll be quite fun. You like the idea of that?
Yeah, I like the idea of that. We can. I'm giving people forewarning as well. If you think we're going to stick to like all the people that update Wikipedia on a daily basis of exactly how much weight that the Hulk can lift and how powerful compared to Goku from Dragon Ball Z Superman is, like we're not going to be doing all of that. It's going to be just like imagining what it's going to be like and just having a laugh with the scenario, just playing out a scenario, see how it goes.
And I'm going to be taking a piss as well about Batman like throwing out his bat cow or his bat cock, slapping around the face with his bat cock. Let's just fucking go crazy with it. I don't want any general statistics popping up.
I might throw a few in there. If I'm about to lose, I might hit Wikipedia up and be like, actually, you'll find that in episode 3 of Hulk versus Wolverine, that you'll find Wolverine's healing factor is dictated by the certain environmental issues surrounding us.
Yeah. And if I'm going to get Batman, Batman's always going to win, so you can just...
Batman couldn't win against a fucking wet fart. Imagine having that trapped inside of his suit, and then the only exit is out of the mouth hole in his cowl.
Actually, somebody posted a picture, and it was of a toy for Dawn of Justice, and it was Batman in his Superman armor stuff, and there's a picture of him just snarling. And it's like Batman stuck in his suit and he needed his shit. I thought it was really fun.
Awesome. All right, shall we wrap it up there, buddy? Because I think we've gone long enough. We've done all of the comic book side of ComicCon. We've wrapped up Planet of the Apes, which is a massive thing that I wanted to talk about. And we've done our Dickhead of the Week, which I'll make sure we can go back and forth with one next week. I'll make sure that there's plenty of dickheads in the world. It won't take me long to search for something. But it's been a fun one. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's been good. I apologise if I've been a bit stuttery, a bit stammery this week. I'm a bit hungover this morning, so it's not been. I've not been as fluid.
You should have opened on that. Basically you're a bottle of whiskey in already.
I'm glad you've been quite talkative. Actually, you've kind of held me up a bit this week.
It's all right.
Well, yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back next week with our new feature. Thank you to all of our listeners. We are going to grow, and we need your support. And we can
donate $2 a month, and to a puppy that needs help.
Let's do like an Oxfam style a video.
If you want me to, I will. I'll make sure we could get that drawn up for next week. Should we do that? I tell you what, when we launch like a Patreon or a Kickstarter, because we were greedy and want even some nice mics or something, we'll do that, and I'll draw an Oxfam thing up for us.
Two guys in their spare rooms in their houses. They wanted to thrill the world.
If you want to give us a follow on Facebook, you know the link to Facebook, don't you, Al?
It's literally just Thors-Kin podcast with the dash. So that's Thors-Kin podcast.
Yeah,
and you'll see.
And on Twitter, it's just at Thors-Kin podcast with a capital TKP. And give us a follow on both of those. So we kind of like try and keep that as active as we can. And just the Thors-Kin podcast on YouTube, and give us a subscribe there as well. So we're going to be doing this obviously every week. We've done this last week, but just on the first couple of episodes, just to announce it. Every week we're going to be recording over the weekend, putting up for you on Monday evening, probably after we finish work, and we can kind of get our shit together on a Monday. And yeah, be good. So superhero bar fight next week.
Yeah, and suggestions of people, please, for heroes for that. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
The after the better, really.
Yeah, cool. I'm out anyway.
Condiment King.
The fucking
anyway,
Condiment King.
Thank you very much.
The Condiment King versus Mustard Man. See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.